Hey everybody, BDogASDF here, and I am excited. For those of you who aren't aware, actually just yesterday, when you are seeing this video, it'll be yesterday, Nintendo had released a live stream presentation for the Nintendo Switch, where they showed a bunch of games that were coming out for it, giving us the specs on it, telling us how everything works, all that jazz. And I'm really impressed. I honestly was hoping that it would be an interesting console. They made sure to give it a decent amount of battery life that honestly any handheld is supposed to have. So, unfortunately, I did notice that they pointed out that it's depending on the game you're playing will change how the battery life works, but you can at least get to like 2.5 hours minimum out of like probably a really high demanding game. Uh, and then right after they talked about the NX, they then gave us a lineup of games that are on its way. If I'm remembering correctly, the first one that they revealed was the new Mario game. This actually fooled me because in the intro video starts off with a regular human city. It may not be completely regular because of all the wacky science and stuff, but you see regular humans walking down the street, and cars are driving down the highway. And then it does this like shot for shot from Sonic Adventure 1. And it does this whole thing where a car drives over a sewer lid, just like Sonic Adventure, and instead of water blasting out of it, we have the plumber himself, Mario, who pops out of the sewer lid and starts exploring the city. And he's got a whole new arsenal of moves. They made sure to give him his long jump from previous games. They gave him a spin dash. Well, it's not really Sonic spin dash. You don't charge it up and just zoom in a ball. You can run and then turn into a ball and gain momentum as you're running down a hill. Stuff like that. And it was bizarre seeing that like Mario in the real world, and it eventually started showing other worlds that Mario was visiting, bright and colorful ones, dark and muddy ones. There's jungles, all kinds of worlds. And we got the title of the game is called Super Mario Odyssey. We don't know exactly what the plotline's going. Well, obviously the plotline is Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach. And of course, we got a pretty awesome image of Bowser in a pretty pimpin' outfit. So, props to you, Nintendo. You made a classy Bowser. And let me backtrack for a little bit, because I thought, for some reason in my head, I forgot that there were two games announced before Mario was. The first game is called 1-2 Switch. This was the very first game they mentioned. It's basically a game where on the game screen, it's if you've ever played a game like Jackbox or anything like that, it's where the game happens in the console, but you and your friends are doing something that doesn't involve the exact console itself. So on the Nintendo Switch, you can take the two side pieces of the controller that you saw an image of earlier, and one friend can hold on to one piece while you hold on to the other. Both of these can be treated as controllers. In 1-2 Switch, it's basically a race to see who can do said task the fastest. They introduced it with a cowboy western video, and so basically we'd go 1, 2, then the guys would lift up the switch controller, hit the button, and whoever hit it the fastest wins. It's basically like that. And they also went out of their way to explain what the Nintendo Switch controllers are physically capable of doing regarding rumble, motion control, and all that stuff. Hopefully the motion control is much, 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 much better than how it used to be. Because if so, then hey man, perfectly fine. I'm happy with that. The next game that got introduced is a game called ARMS. When I originally saw it, I was thinking, is this like a Punch-Out thing? because it starts off with two human beings, a Japanese schoolgirl and just a regular guy. They walk in, they look like they're ready to fight, and then they do this whole like swinging their arms down to the ground like they're trying to like power up from like an anime or something, and their arms turn into these long spring-like boxing gloves, and they start like boxing fighting each other, and then it cuts into the game, and they called it ARMS. Not a very creative name, but it's nice and it's short, simple, sweet, and it gets to the point. Props to them for that, and they made a colorful looking game that looks like it's fast-paced beat 'em up, and it's where you and a friend can basically use the motion controls of the Switch, and you'll dodge each other's punches, and you can either get up close and beat 'em up with regular punches, or you can stay at a distance and use your spring arms to hit your opponent from afar. And it showed a different variety of types of fighters, and we got to see a potential boss. So there might be a simple story mode in there, all kinds of interesting stuff. And then eventually they showed us the Mario for the Switch. The next game I want to talk about is Splatoon 2. Anybody who has ever been a fan of Splatoon, who saw screenshots of a potential DLC for Splatoon, was completely wrong. It was an actual direct sequel called Splatoon 2. Of course, it didn't take advantage of the obvious joke of Splatoon, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still a good game. And it seems like they added new weapons. The one I noticed the most was the semi-automatic dual pistols. You can rapid fire with them, and your character holds them at a sideways angle. And they look to be a very effective weapon. They've added the ability to use unique attacks while you're in the air, and they added new special weapons. Like there's these rapid fire rocket launchers. You ever seen like those tanks where they have like rocket launchers on them, but it's multiple different ports, and then it would like fire 6 missiles at a time? It's kind of like that. And one of the other things that I definitely want to point attention to is that they added alternate hairstyles. You can change your character's hairstyle, and they've added new forms of customization. Absolutely excited for that. I really hope that they make it more fun. Especially, I would like it if they could definitely make it an interesting single player. But it's a multiplayer based game, so let's just hope the multiplayer gets even better. Next up that I want to talk about is Suda51 and Team... Oh, dang, I forgot their name. I think it was like W Team Force, something like that. So, Suda51 announced that they're going to be bringing back a character that they have not done anything with since the Wii. The Nintendo Wii. That was like, what? 2010? Maybe earlier than that? And, this character's name is Travis Touchdown. You'll be seeing his image on the screen next to the person talking about it. He comes from a game called No More Heroes. It's a rated M game. Not as popular as it should be for what it brought to the table, and one of the few games on the Nintendo Wii's lifespan that was fantastic. An absolute blast to play. It was a rated M game, and it was very gory, but it was basically a character who wanted to become the number one on the bounty hunter list or something like that. And he basically has to kill all these other numbers to become the number one. And he eventually does, using a beam saber. So yes, you get to run around as a otaku using a lightsaber to kill assassins. Assassins, that's what they're called. My bad. It's been a while since I played. And I look forward to a possible No More Heroes 3 because I'd like to play No More Heroes again with an actual controller that I'm not bound to motion controls. Not that the motion controls were bad or anything, I just want to experience it on a regular controller, and I think it would be awesome to see what No More Heroes could possibly look like in today's graphics. Next up is the one by the Team Force W or W Team Force. I can't remember. It's Fire Emblem Warriors. Anybody who has ever played Fire Emblem can probably look forward to this. If you've ever heard of Hyrule Warriors, Dynasty Warriors, games like that, or even if you know about the current Berserk game that's going on in Japan, that's basically what Fire Emblem Warriors will most likely be. That's what I'm predicting it to be, because whenever those companies are working on it, it tends to be a Dynasty Warriors type of game. And that'd be amazing because we got to see a vision of Chrom in Fire Emblem Awakening. So there's a possibility that we'll see Robin, we'll probably get to see Corrin, probably some non-Lord characters, Marth, Ike. We could see all of them in a action game. Hack and slash, taking down mobs of enemies. That would be absolutely amazing. Incredibly, I find it extremely incredible. And I hope to see more of it very soon. Next up, we got an announcement for Xenoblade 2. If anybody's ever played Xenoblade Chronicles, it was a Nintendo Wii game that had very low quantity on its release, and it became very obscure and expensive. Then eventually, when the new Nintendo 3DS came out, they released Xenoblade Chronicles 3D as a launch title. So that way people could play the game again in a handheld, and then they added an extra feature, but it was basically the same game. So we now have Xenoblade 2. I want to know if Xenoblade 2 is going to pick up like only a couple years after the events of Xenoblade Chronicles. Like, will it tie into that? Or is it going to do its own completely separate thing? But one thing I know for sure is that our protagonist is wielding his own version of Shulk's Monado. Monado was the main weapon that Shulk, the main character of Xenoblade Chronicles, used, and it was the plot-important weapon. So, I look forward to seeing that, and hopefully the Nintendo Switch's memory space is big enough that it can handle it, even with updates. Now then, next up we have Shin Megami Tensei 5, or that's what people are calling it right now. When none of us expected it. As soon as it said it was from Atlus, I assumed it was either a Persona game or a Shin Megami Tensei game, and as I started to see the monsters appear, I believed that it was more Shin Megami Tensei than Persona 5, because Persona 5 is about human interaction, and whatever themes those humans have to deal with. Whereas Shin Megami Tensei is law, chaos, neutral, and your choices. Your choices affect what happens in your story. You gotta communicate with demons, you gotta try to convince them to join you. It's an incredibly challenging RPG franchise, but people love it, and the soundtracks are amazing. Not too long after that was announced as well, they did I guess you could say it was kind of like an official commercial for the Switch. Probably like their first official one. And it showed off a whole plethora of games that will be on it. Virtual console games. Games that that have not been officially given a release date for. All kinds of stuff. We got to see a quick clip of Sonic Project 2017 on there, which tells us it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch and not just like a Sony console or or a Microsoft console. We got to see Super Street Fighter 2. We got to see some people noticed there was a Bomberman game in there. There were indie titles, old classics. Square Enix also announced that they were going to do the team that made Bravely Default and Bravely Second are going to return and release a brand new RPG in a style that they haven't done before, and that is going to be interesting. It looks like it's going to be like a 16-bit 2D RPG. So there is a lot to look forward to for this Nintendo Switch. I'm going to put in the link sorry, scratch that. I am going to put in the description down below a link to the actual presentation. It is about an hour long, I'd say, and I would recommend watching it from beginning to end. If you want, you can always just cut to the games they show, but if you'd like to know more about the stuff involving the Switch, you'd want to listen to what they have to say. And I want you guys to let me know what you guys think of it in the comment section down below, because I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts, and I will be very quick to respond to your comments as best as I can. And last but not least, because I know I've skimmed over quite a bit, I'm just trimming the fat here so this video is not like an hour long, but the last game they announced was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has been a game that people have been wondering for at least 2 years now. They knew it was people were calling it Zelda Wii U. They were asking if Link was a male or a female in this game. Possible open world and all this kind of crazy stuff. Now, eventually we started seeing clips. We started seeing all kinds of stuff for Breath of the Wild. And they finally gave us an official trailer for Breath of the Wild. And in this trailer, we got to hear actual voice acting in a Zelda game. Never before have we had a Zelda game where there was full-on dialogue in the voice acting. The only time we've had a Zelda game that had actual voice acting was in Hyrule Warriors, and that was a spin-off, and it was only for the narrator lady. Meanwhile, in Breath of the Wild, it seems like we might actually get like official voice acting from characters. Probably not from Link, but we'll probably get to see that voice acting from Zelda, Ganon, all that jazz. And this was the huge shocker that surprised me and got me so excited. After so many years of wanting info on Breath of the Wild and looking forward as to what the plan was, they officially confirmed that Breath of the Wild is going to be a release date for the Nintendo Switch. That means when you go to get your console, you can also pick up Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and you'll have hours of gameplay. Probably enough to satisfy you until other games come out in the future. There are a couple of games that will be coming out a little bit later than when they originally intended it. Apparently, unfortunately, this new Mario game, if I remember correctly, they said will not be coming out until winter of 2017. That means we have to wait almost a whole year for the game to come out. But we also have a lot of others that will be coming out only a few months after the Switch comes out. Hopefully Breath of the Wild will keep fans entertained for a couple of weeks. And there will definitely be more games on the way, most likely Virtual Console or just digital only games. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. And the best thing about the Nintendo Switch is that it's a game you can take, and it's a console you can take anywhere. It has a huge amount of battery, and even if it needs to charge and you're going to a friend's house, you can still take it with you and just charge it there. And you can change how controllers work and all kinds of stuff like that. You never know. And in all honesty, I think that this might possibly be an awesome console for 2017. I'm really hoping it is. I'm definitely going to get it. I'm definitely going to get the games that I saw at the presentation, and I'm definitely going to be live streaming most of them. I don't think I can live stream 1-2 Switch, but I will definitely provide content to you guys when this console is out as soon as I possibly can. As soon as I can. So once again, I will be leaving a link in the description down below to Nintendo's presentation of the Switch on their YouTube channel, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of this video, and I will be sure to respond to them as best as I can. I'm B-Dog ASDF signing off, guys. Have a fantastic day, or night, or yeah. I suck at outros. Bye!